The tail that wags.
Hello everyone, I hope you're enjoying a wonderful spring day. Now before we get into today's video, this week's Gnaw on this question is, why do dogs protect their paws so much? I'll answer that question at the end of today's video. Now The Tail That Wags is a channel all about dogs. It's about the enjoyment, it's about learning about dogs, and just having the overall happiness of having dogs with you. So hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you'll be up to date on everything The Tail That Wags. And now, dogs can make a happy life. They get dirty, they're expensive, and a lot of responsibility. These are valid concerns with adopting a dog. But did you know that having a dog can actually improve your life? There is concrete scientific evidence that proves that having a dog helps your physical, mental, and emotional health, as well as improving your social life. Now, many of these facts apply to pet parents, whether it's a cat, a reptile, or a fish. But because I'm Auntie Nessa, the crazy dog lady, I will focus on dogs. But having animals in your life can make your life fuller, richer, and better than those who do not. So let's get into it. Let's focus on 4 crucial ways dogs make life better: your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, and a social life. Most people agree that maintaining physical health is more important than being rich and famous. Just petting a familiar dog for 10 minutes lowers blood pressure, heart rate, slows breathing, and relaxes muscle tension. Moreover, petting a dog dramatically reduces the stress hormone cortisol. But what about dog parents who have dogs around full time? You can't live if you don't have a beating heart, and dogs improve your heart health. Responsible dog parents exercise their pups regularly. Jogging, walking, or throwing around the ball are excellent ways of exercise. Even a 22-minute daily walk will fulfill the suggested 2.5 hours of moderate exercise per week. As a result, pup parents are more likely to exercise more, eat better, smoke less, and keep a better body weight. Also, they typically have a lower blood pressure, cholesterol, and triglycerides, which are crucial to having a healthy heart. Having a dog reduces cardiovascular disease by 65%. Being a dog parent lowers epinephrine, norepinephrine, and cortisol while raising endorphin, oxytocin, prolactin, and dopamine levels. So what does that mean? It means that loving and caring for a dog raises the good hormones that are healthy and make us happy, while simultaneously lowering the stress hormones that damage our physical health. We've always been taught that dogs make allergies worse. However, studies show that children who were exposed to dogs early and often were found to have less and fewer severe allergies. Immune systems are strengthened by the dirt and dander that kids and dogs kick up, which is a benefit. Also, children who have dogs in their lives are less likely to need extra visits to their pediatrician and don't miss as much school. But just a common sense misnomer: if your child has allergies, follow your pediatrician's advice. Reduced dog visits are not limited to children with dogs. Their adult counterparts have fewer visits to the doctor as well. In fact, dog families battle disease and injury better than those without dogs. Dogs also help people who live alone. People who live a solitary life are more likely to have a stroke or a heart attack, unless, you know it, that single person has a dog. In fact, a dog reduces a single person's chance of death by 31%. There is a difference between mental and emotional health. Mental health is our social and psychological well-being affecting how we feel, think, and act, while our emotional health is how happy, resilient, and self-confident we are. The difference between the two is that mental health influences psychological, emotional, and social needs and how they affect thoughts and actions. Emotional health is the ability to manage and express emotions in a mature manner, and dogs improve both. Dogs have amazing effects on us humans. Dogs help many of us who have psychological issues. For instance, 16.2 million adults in the United States have at least one major depressive disorder. The range can be from persistent depressive disorder, bipolar disorder, or even postpartum depression. People who have dogs are less likely to have depression, and they reduce the severity of those with depression. Furthermore, dogs help with irritability, anxiety, agitation, loneliness, and depression in people who suffer with Alzheimer's and dementia. And research has found that dogs can smell Alzheimer's. It is believed that the early stages of Alzheimer's show changes in urine, which dogs can smell. Dogs communicate through nonverbal cues. Some people with Alzheimer's and people with dementia have difficulty communicating verbally, and studies show that nonverbal communication bonds people with these diseases. So how can dogs help people who have these very real illnesses? As we discussed earlier, dogs reduce stress and anxiety, which are serious symptoms of mental illness, but it goes much further than that. You've heard me say dogs have 300 million scent receptors to a human's feeble 6 million scent receptors. Dogs can smell the chemical changes in the human body, especially humans they love, because they are more attuned to their human. When a person suffers with panic attacks and/or mania, those chemical changes in the brain gives a scent that dogs can sense. The dog can take instant action to help their person. I'll give you 2 examples. I watched a documentary of prisoners who trained service dogs for vets. One veteran had severe post-traumatic stress disorder. It debilitated him to the point that when he heard a popping noise, something as simple as hearing a twig snap, it would bring him back to the battlefield and he would stand frozen right where he stood. Not only was this excruciating, nothing could snap him out of the trance he would go into after hearing this noise. Medication, family, treatments were all completely ineffective. That was until he got his service dog. This sweet golden retriever could smell the changes in his body even when he would go into a trance, when there was no apparent noise. All she'd need do is lean on her daddy and he would instantly snap out of the trance. Secondly, a woman, Molly, with severe schizophrenia, heard voices and saw things that would terrify anyone. Her pup, Hank, turns on lights in a dark room so she is able to see that there's nothing in that room. If Hank walks in and out of the room, that helps Molly to know that there's nothing that room has and it's safe. In addition, Hank smells Molly's emotions and acts to calm her. A recent study shows that children who grew up and around dogs are better equipped to deal with stress-related problems and depression. But the curious aspect of this study suggests that early exposure to dogs may significantly reduce the risk of later diagnosis of schizophrenia. Dogs also help those living with autism. Some children with autism often find it difficult to socialize with others. Therapy dogs can enable autistic kids to be motivated enough to initiate and interact with people. In addition, these dogs can divert the child away from distractions and focus on a task. In fact, autism therapy dogs help autistic patients with social engagement, calming people during meltdowns, with cognitive and emotional growth, sensory skills, and improved vocal skills, among other things. Dogs naturally help people emotionally regardless of illness. Dogs have the ability to connect with humans on a level unlike any other animal. They sense our emotions by hearing the inflection in our tones, as well as smelling the changes in our body chemistry. Over thousands of years, evolution has reshaped the muscles in and around a dog's eye to better communicate and evoke feelings of love in humans. Having someone to love increases self-esteem, and dog parents have higher levels of self-esteem. Think about it. Despite our flaws, our mistakes, and imperfections, your dog believes you are the most magnificent being on this earth. So when you're having a bad day, not feeling as well, or have been rejected by someone, your dog will always be there to give you love. Having someone to care for often gives purpose. Dogs give love and companionship, yet they need humans to meet their basic needs. That gives motive to live life. For example, my mother was wheelchair-bound. I moved out of state and away from her. She would stay in the house for days at a time without even opening the curtains. But when she got her service dog, Teddy, she regained her purpose and her need to care for someone. Another example is when I moved to my new town, I didn't know anyone. That all changed rather quickly when I started walking my mother's dog, Teddy. Because I took Teddy for walks, I met fellow dog parents and other people who love dogs. In fact, singles have borrowed a friend's or family's dog to walk in order to meet a mate. Studies show that people with dogs are more outgoing, likely to have friends, have an easier time meeting new friends and fostering stronger and better relationships than those without dogs. Dog parents enjoy these benefits because people believe that dog parents are more outgoing, trustworthy, and even more attractive. The reason dog people are thought to be more attractive is that they are more outgoing, more open, calm, initiate conversations, focus on others, laugh more, and are more positive than people who do not like dogs. Without a doubt, dogs make life better. They keep us healthier, happier, and make us better companions. But having a dog is a huge responsibility that should not be taken lightly. A dog depends on their person for their everyday needs. Food, grooming, and vet bills are higher than ever. A 2018 study estimates it costs approximately $2,883 per year to care for only one dog, which does not include boarding, training, and grooming costs. In addition, like children, dogs require time and energy. Despite the size of your dog, they need daily walks, inoculations, and personal care. But if you're honest with yourself and you have the time and resources, having a dog will likely make your life better. But do your research. Figure out what type of dog will suit you. Dog shelters can help you determine which dog will be best. If you have a family with children, be sure to instruct your kids how to treat the family dog. Designate who's responsible for feeding, water bowls, and cleanup, which will help kids learn responsibility and build character. As a dog sitter, I can tell you it is very important to socialize your dog to people and other dogs early and often. It'll make your life easier for the both of you when your dog is used to being around others besides you. Socializing your dog also makes it easier on your dog sitter when you leave your dog in our care. But remember, you can love dogs even if you can't be a parent right now. Get your fix. You can volunteer at shelters or just throw the ball for your neighbor's pup. So enjoy and love your dog, and you'll enjoy and love your life. This week's Gnaw on this question is, why do dogs protect their paws so much? Well, let's find out. The paw. Have you ever tried to hold a dog's paw and you pulled away? Does your dog keep her paws close to her, even keeping them under her body? A dog's paws have many more functions than just a foot. The paw delivers information to a dog's environment. The best way to describe this is to examine the anatomy of the paw. The paw is made up of the claw, digital pads, the metacarpal pad, the dew claw, and the carpal pad. A dog has toes that function much like humans' fingers and toes. They may not be able to wiggle their toes around, but a dog's paws can actually be ticklish. Dogs are digigrade animals, which means they bear their weight on their toes instead of their heels like humans do. So dogs literally walk on their tippy toes, kind of like a ballet dancer when she's dancing on her toes. Claws are much like our fingernails. They're made of keratosis material like human fingernails, but they are used for various reasons. Claws are used to grip objects, dig and scratch at the ground and at themselves. Dogs use their claws and their teeth to fight predators. The claw can grip the ground, helping them get more traction when they are running. Trimming claws can be tricky because if done incorrectly, you could severely injure your dog. It may be best to get your vet or a groomer if you are nervous about trimming your dog's claws. The D-claw is a type of thumb. Your dog uses her D-claw to grip things like bones or a toy. It was originally used to hold and tear the flesh of prey. There is a debate if dogs actually need their D-claws, as D-claws have been snagged, torn, and infected. However, there is evidence that dogs without declaws have complications with their ligaments. Declaws are usually on the front legs on most dogs, but breeds like the St. Bernard and Great Pyrenees have declaws on their rear legs as well. Dogs use their declaws for traction, stabilization, and support of the leg and foot. Many dogs use their declaws to climb. So the next time your dog is chewing on a bone or a toy, watch him use his thumb. The digital pads are the 4 rough leathery parts on a dog's paw. Paws are made of epidermis, the same type of skin that is on the soles of human feet. The pads are made of a thick layer of fatty tissue that doesn't freeze, allowing dogs to walk in the snow, the ice, and the cold. Pads help a dog distinguish the terrain, and the pad also helps distribute the weight of a dog while she is walking. Digital pads also regulate water from the body. There are sweat glands in the paw, so when your dog goes potty and scratches up the ground, he is leaving his scent for other animals to know he's been there. Dogs get their paws wet in an attempt to cool themselves down. A dog can have sweaty paws just like humans can have sweaty hands and feet. A dog's paws have a distinctive smell, but when your dog's paws smell like corn chips, there is a harmless bacteria she has picked up. However, if a dog's paws have any type of strong or yeasty smell, go to your vet. Moreover, your dog may have foot protection needed in extreme cold, as his paws can crack. In addition, paws can blister in extreme heat, so be mindful of hot concrete in the summer. The metacarpal pad is the largest pad on the paw and is the equivalent of the soles and palms of the human hand and foot. Metacarpal are the front pads and metatarsal are the rear. These pads cushion the paws and absorb shock to ease the strain on a dog's bones and joints. Like the digital pads, the metacarpal pads are made of thick layers of fat and connective tissue with 5 layers of skin to help a dog walk on a variety of terrain. Finally, the carpal pad is located where the wrist should be, also known as a stopper pad. It is made of very rough skin and is present on a dog's front legs. The carpal pads touch the ground when a dog makes a quick turn, offers traction, and works like a brake when a dog has to stop running. The carpal pad essentially is a bumper when he hits the ground or lands a jump. Finally, carpal pads help a dog keep balance on steep and slippery terrain, preventing falls and other injuries. So the paw has many functions and is therefore one of the most sensitive parts on a dog's body. In fact, the skin in front of the paw is the most sensitive area on the paw, and the skin between the paw pads are even more sensitive. Your dog instinctively protects the most sensitive parts of his body. When you touch your dog's paws, it can feel awkward. Furthermore, he will pull his paws away because it can be interpreted as domination. He may feel the instinctive need to protect himself from fear or danger. It's best to start touching your dog's paws early and often so she can grow accustomed to your touch. If your dog permits, give a gentle massage. This can relax the paw and strengthen your bond. Although paws are quite durable, injuries happen. Your pup may not make it easy, but examine paws regularly for any changes, discolorations, cuts, scabs, or bruises. Take your dog to the vet when changes occur. So now you know how important the paw is to your dog and how sensitive and versatile the paw can be. Have a little patience if he is standoffish with you handling his paws. Ease into handling the paw and show your dog's paws respect when touching them. Your dog will appreciate your care and your bond will continue to grow.